Is there a Democrat, if you had to, that you could see supporting for president in this time?
The only Democrat that I would even think about would probably be Joe Manchin, and he's not running. He's the only spoiler. If he went for the no labels ticket, it could change the dynamics of the whole election process.
If Michelle Obama were to run,
Oh my God, no.
Gavin Newsom,
Oh, please.
Vice President Harris.
That is ridiculous.
If you had to, and I'm going to name some names for you, just tell me if you could support them as president. If you had to support a Democrat, Michelle Obama.
No,
Vice President Harris.
absolutely not.
Governor Newsom of California.
No,
AOC, the Congresswoman.
absolutely not.
Senator Bernie Sanders.
Absolutely not.
And then finally, let me think of a good one. Chris Rock, he's from South Carolina.
I can't say I know much about him.
I mean, he's a comedian.
Okay, Chris Rock. Okay, I knew comedian, but I thought, well, anybody could have the name Chris Rock. So, no, I would pick Chris Rock.
If you had to vote for a Democrat, among the ones that are being talked about, who could you see yourself voting for among them? Let's say Gavin Newsom.
I tell you what, if you vote for Gavin Newsom, you need to have your brain checked. Look at what California's become.
What about Vice President Harris?
Oh gosh, he's worse than Biden. I don't know if anybody's worse than Biden, but
What about Bruce Springsteen?
no, wouldn't vote for. Well, see, that's where I think the problem is. There are no real Democrats anymore. If you look at what Trump talks about, he's closer to the Democrat from 20 years ago than a Republican, in my opinion.
What about AOC?
I wouldn't vote for her to be my local bartender. So,
She was a bartender.
I know she was, and so was I for a long time. But it's amazing to me how somebody like that even gets voted in. But it's just shows you, and they openly push this stuff. I mean, they openly push hatred of America.
If you had to vote for a Democrat, right, are there any that you can think of that you would support if I give you some names even?
Go ahead. I don't think so, though.
Gavin Newsom?
Hell no. I'm from California. I escaped California.
Vice President Harris?
No. Absolutely not.
Oprah Winfrey?
No.
Bruce Springsteen?
No.
Amy Klobuchar?
No.
We're in South Carolina. What about Lisa Gibbons?
I don't know who that is.
Chris Rock?
No.
He's a South Carolinian.
Yeah, but he's also a musician, not a politician. And even if Trump wasn't a politician either, that's probably what makes him so great.
If you had to vote for a Democrat, if you had to, we go to jump into a hypothetical here.
I would never vote for a Democrat. I would never vote for a Democrat.
We know that.
I would never vote for a Democrat. Democrats murder children. Democrats have sold this country for money. Hillary sold you. Has enriched herself selling you uranium. I mean, never.
Can I give you some names about possibilities?
Never Democrat.
What?
The Democrat leaves the Democrat Party and becomes an independent. Like I love Tulsi Gabbard. Great. She's not a Democrat anymore, right?
What about RFK Jr.? What about
Satan? Bye, demons.
What about RFK Jr.?
He's got to leave the Democrat Party.
Well, he's running as an independent.
I like a lot of what he says.
What about Gavin Newsom?
I told you I moved from California, right? Yeah, my husband took a transfer to California. We fled with the shirts on our back, lost our tail to leave because of what that snake, that satanic, evil, soul-sucking snake Gavin Newsom is.
And what about, I'll list a couple more.
Gavin Newsom had a 10-year plan for San Francisco. How's that going? All that tax money he sucked up out of me and my husband when we lived there, he had a 10-year plan to end the homelessness and improve San Francisco. Have you been there lately? Because I've been there multiple times in the past. You can pay me to go to San Francisco now.
What about someone like Oprah Winfrey, who's not really part of the political circle?
I think she's really old news. I haven't heard anything about her in about 2 decades.
And what about Vice President Harris?
Flat on her back Harris?
Kamala Harris, I'm talking about.
Flat on her back Harris that slept her way with Willie Brown to power, who accused Joe Biden of racism, and was it racism and sexism? But now she's just fine with it because she's for sale. Democrats are for sale.
If you had to vote for a Democrat, of the Democrats that are being talked about, who might it be? Would it be somebody like Michelle Obama or somebody like Vice President Harris or even Gavin Newsom?
If I had to vote for Democrat with those names you mentioned, I would not be in a booth on Election Day.
Is there a Democrat you could think of that you would support?
Locally, but not nationally.
Well, let's play the game. Well, one national one. Is there one that you can think of?
No, there's not. Not one. A lot of Republicans, no Democrat. And I, like most people in this section of the world, were Democrats at one time. But we finally, the light switch turned on. We saw what was happening to our country.
Is there a Democrat you could see supported?
No, not right now. I was a Democrat years ago until the Democratic Party, when the Democratic Party truly was a working man's party. But it's not that anymore. It's a liberal party that everybody goes to oppose anything that makes any sense, to be quite frank with you. It's just ridiculous.
Is there, if I give you some names of what you like, if you had to vote for a Democrat, let's play a game. Michelle Obama?
Not in a million years.
What about?
It wouldn't be her decisions. It would be Brock's decisions.
What about Vice President Harris?
No, absolutely not.
Governor Newsom in California?
He'd be the worst of all the ones you mentioned so far. Look at California. You know, if you want to live in a state that's broke and got homeless people and transients sleeping all over the streets, then you vote for Newsom. But he'd run the country the same way he runs the state of California, which is terrible.
Is there a Democrat who could run for president, forgetting President Biden, who you could see yourself supporting?
No, I don't, because I'll tell you why. It's just my beliefs as far as, being a conservative, and beliefs as far as I feel that men should not play in women's sports. I feel like guys should be back into our schools. Democrats, they're free-spirited. They don't really have any morals. So, no, absolutely not.
Is there a Democrat who has a shot at your vote in November?
Probably not.
If I give you some names about possibilities, if you had to vote for one, what if I were to say Michelle Obama?
Probably not the Obamas either.
What about someone like Chris Rock, a famous South Carolinian?
Chris Rock, after what happened at the Grammys last year? Whatever the nomination award was, I don't know. Definitely a little bit of controversy surrounding that.
Is there a Democrat that you could imagine yourself voting for?
I don't think so.
Ma'am?
No.
What about, I'm going to give you some names, what about Vice President Harris?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
What about Michelle Obama?
Absolutely not.
What about Michelle Obama?
Absolutely not.
Wow, so we're getting a lot of absolutely. What about the governor of California, Gavin Newsom?
Definitely not.
No.
Trump 2024.
That gets a no. Senator Sanders, Bernie Sanders, if you were jumping in the race again?
Absolutely not.
No.
And last one, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
He would be the only one that I would ever consider as a Democrat.
Just because they hate him so bad. If the Democrats didn't hate him so bad.
Because I think he is a more right-sided Democrat. He's a more conservative Democrat.
How much of this is pleasure seeing, like if you're a Raiders fan and you hate the Chiefs, seeing the Chiefs lose is really great, and it's almost as good as a Raiders win. How much of it is about seeing the other side lose more than seeing this team win? Because you said, I like RFK Jr. because they hate him.
Right. Yes. I think he's got more, like she said, straight down the road values, versus far left wing, green agenda, electric cars. They're just pushing stuff that's filling their pockets with money. They're not working for us.
And that's the whole thing. The government is supposed to be working for us, not us feeding them. And I think that has gotten lost.
But what about a Democrat? Are there any Democrats you like?
Democrats? I would say, nah, not really, to be honest.
What about if Michelle Obama were running for president instead of Joe Biden? Could you see yourself?
Michelle Obama, yeah. Because Joe Biden, literally, in my opinion, he walks on stage and
literally doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, there's multiple memes of him just like rambling on, saying, and it's just like, why is he even on the stage? Because like everybody's making memes and making fun of him.
What if I threw some names at you, like Michelle Obama?
No.
What about Vice President Harris?
No.
Gavin Newsom, the governor of California?
Absolutely not.
What about AOC?
No. Absolutely not.
If you had to vote for a Democrat, I'm going to throw some names out to you. Could you see yourself voting for Gavin Newsom, the governor of California?
Absolutely not.
Michelle Obama, the former First Lady?
Absolutely not.
Vice President Harris?
Absolutely not.
That was an emphatic one. How come?
What has she done for me? You get my vote. I run for office, so you have to earn a person's vote. What has she done for me? Why would I vote for her?
On that note, what has Donald Trump done for you that gets your support?
I don't think you have time to hear all the things that has been done for this country, our economy. Let's go food shopping, for example. In his administration, look at gas. You got food shopping, gas, economy. You've got home ownership. All the things he just listed. I'm not going to come up with anything new.